Hey everyone, you're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. Here is today's comic, Superman number 15. Step aside, Superman. It's Superboy we need for the Legion of Superheroes. I can't even read it right. Sorry about that. This is by Bendis, Rice, Prado, Albert Sinclair, and the Legion of Doofuses ever at DC that are part of the Portland Mafia that followed Bendis over. And, I know not a lot of you, there's not that many that watch my channel. There's going to be some of you that watch my channel that aren't familiar. Maybe you've just come on. This might be your first video even. And you're following along with Bendis doing the Legion. Maybe you're a big Bendis fan. I don't know. And you're going to think, man, this Ash guy sounds like a total Bendis hater, yada, yada. And you're not totally wrong, but you're not totally right either. The big picture here is I've been reviewing Bendis over at DC since he's come to DC. I started with his first Man of Steel issue, and I've reviewed every Superman book he's done since, as well as other books like Naomi and the first 6 issues of Young Justice. I gave Bendis a chance. And if you want proof of that, you can go watch my Man of Steel videos, where on the first 5 videos, man, I'm promoting Bendis. I'm trying to curb the hysteria that was going on of everyone going, oh my God, Bendis is coming to DC. You know, everything's going to go down to tubes, blah, blah. And I was the opposite. If you don't believe me, watch the videos. Not number 6 though. That's where everything started to fall apart. But then I did do a few positive videos for Action Comics and as Superman as well. The thing is, there were a few. See, Bendis I've come to discover is a complete hack. He may be a talented guy. Obviously, he's proven that he knows his business. When he wants to write something, he could. Some of those Superman books were spot on. Really good writing. I've even given a positive review of his recent event that's going on right now, the whole event Leviathan, although it's starting to come apart at the seams. But this seems sort of typical for Bendis. He doesn't seem to really have ideas. Or let's say he doesn't have formulated ideas. They come off half-cocked. The whole Robles story. It's like, oh, I'm going to create this brand new villain for Superman. It's going to be the greatest villain that Superman's ever had. Robles, oh, great, that Man of Steel. Oh, it's intriguing. Who is this guy? He kind of looks like Doomsday. But he's intelligent. And he's cunning. Okay. And he seems to have a motive. The thing I always hated about Doomsday was that he wasn't really a villain. He was more of an environmental catastrophe. It was just like Superman fighting a volcano. It's like Doomsday didn't have an agenda. He wasn't cunning. He just destroyed things. He's a force of nature, if you will. Where Robles is a little more interesting because the guy obviously has motives. What drives him? So, fast forward to today, and if you watched my review for Superman number 14 with the end of the Robles storyline, it's completely unthought out. Like, for 20 issues, or 19 issues, this story of Robles has just gone on and on and on with no beginning, middle, and end. It didn't have the 3-act structure. And there's no sense of plot. Bendis doesn't seem to have I can't say he doesn't have a grasp of it. I mean, he's a professional writer, I would hope, but there's no plot in this. It's just meandering writing. It just goes all over the place. We start, we're following the storyline, and all of a sudden we're following Superboy off into some alternate universe for some reason, that he deals with the Justice Society, or the Crime Syndicate. And then he faces them for a few issues, and then he comes back, and then he tells his story, and we have to rehash it all because now he's telling a story to his parents. It's examples like that are the big problem here. Plus, anytime Superman defeated any sort of conflict, or was given the sense to have defeated some conflict, it wasn't Superman doing it. It was someone else doing it for him. He's getting his ass kicked by Robles in the Phantom Zone, and Zod has to show up and sort of save him. In the original Man of series, the Man of Steel series, he's fighting Robles and is this unstoppable guy, this threat. And then what happens at the end of the story, Supergirl shows up and sends him to the Fam Zone. The end. Like, just this total pulled out of your ass ending. Well, that seems to be the MO of Brian Michael Bendis. And you're going to sit here and listen to me. And if you're a Bendis fan, you're probably not going to like what I have to say. But I gave this guy a chance. I'm not going to just like him because I like him. I'm not going to shill for the guy. I tried to tell people, no, be open-minded. This guy's, he's a big-name writer for a reason. He's been around Marvel for 20 years. No. Maybe he is. Maybe he's this great guy. But the stuff he's turning out here at DC is a pure hack job. And they're also, what's really driving me nuts as a fan is that he's using these characters for his own ego. He's not serving the character, he's serving himself. He wants to write Legion of Superheroes, so it's like he used Superman as a way of catapulting his job, his writing career to this. And he's prematurely aged Jonathan Kent to be 17 years old. And we all knew this. Fans called this months ago, that so he could join the Legion. And ta-da, we were all right. And the stupid thing about him being called to join the Legion, like doing this whole thing, is that the Legion exists in the future. They're the 31st century, and they're coming to the past. They don't have to come to this year. They could have come to the year that's 7 years ahead of today. And Jonathan Kent would have been 17, and they would have got him, blah-blah-blah-blah-blah, and then they could have pulled him away. And it would have been a better storyline. Because here's how you do it. I don't like what's going on here in the Superman story, but let's say I'm going to be the editor for Bendis, and I'm going to allow him to do this story. I'm going to say, look, Bendis, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to tell a future story. You're going to tell a story that takes place 7 years from now. You're going to tell a story, and Superman's running around with his 17-year-old son, and Robles has come back to plague everybody, right? Because he's been around for 7 years, and it's just a threat that Superman's never been able to deal with. That makes Robles an even more impactful villain, right? Because this is a guy, 7 years, Superman, he can't deal with him. Then at the end of the storyline, you have the Legion show up, and you do this whole exact thing that's happening right here. And they take Superboy away. And then Superman goes back, 7 years in the past. Like, he doesn't go back in the past. The storyline goes back. There's no time travel involved except for the Legion coming to get Superboy. It's just a flash-forward story. You come back to the present, and Superman dealing with this 10-year-old boy, Jonathan Kent, and we, the audience, have had a sneak peek at what's in store for Jonathan's future 7 years from now when he gets older. And that's something that we might be able to accept and go, oh, yay. And guess what? It doesn't impact the Legion at all. When you tell the Legion superhero, we get to see this older Jonathan Kent. We just don't know we don't know those 7 years of how he got there. But this is what a hack does. He doesn't think things through. He just, the first thing that comes to his head, oh, this is what I'm going to do, put it on paper, boom, go with it. Don't try to polish it and hone it and, sharpen it to a razor's edge. No, just throw it out there. It's good enough as it is. So here we start off. We got Robles. And then we get these. This is really bothering me in the modern comics. Okay. So if you're watching this, you're seeing landscape view, cinema format, the widescreen. I can't go vertical. But here's what's the problem. If I read my iPad vertically, which is what I do to read comics, this gets scrunched, and it goes across the screen, and it's not big like in all this glory. It's kind of like when I show you these pages, like the cover. You got the bars to the right and the left, the same thing, except the bars top and bottom, and it makes the page. You don't have to do this. You can just cut the page in the middle. There's no reason for these panels. It's like you're in the digital era, but you're writing, you're designing comics that actually are anti-digital. Unless you're reading it in the format that I am, which is widescreen. But I'm on a 12-inch iPad. So it comes out okay. But if you're on a normal tablet, and like say an 8-inch tablet, it's going to look small. And God help you if you're on a phone. So Superman starts off. He's looking at the Robles, and Adam Strange comes in. There it is. There you are. I came as soon as I could, Superman. I was halfway to Alpha Centauri following this weird wood god thing that... Oh, is that him? I'm glad to see you, Adam Strange. I flew over here as soon as I... Oh. Are you okay? Is your family okay? Is my family okay? Well, I have a planet to go home to because of you and your son, so yeah, we're okay. United Nations in space. I can't believe I've been out here this entire time and I didn't think of it. My son thought of it. That's the Robles? I hope so. Now, I'm reading it as if I really think that it should be. I think this is a lettering mistake. But maybe it's not. I thought that's what Superman and Adam Strange flip-flopped, but who knows. Congrats on the takedown. The entire galaxy is talking about it. Newfound levels of respect for you for not pulling his head right off his body. Did I hear that a couple of dozen teenagers from the 30th century showed up? Yes, that actually happened. Wow. 31st century. 31st? Did they have a name? Yeah, I guess in Rebirth or Legion of Superheroes, no one knows about it. So, okay, I'm going to give this a pass. I'm just going to be like, what, the Legion of Super... Okay, but this guy, Superman, he does know about it because he is not from Rebirth. Does Bendis know that Superman is part of the Legion of Superheroes? I don't know. It doesn't seem like Bendis knows about anything or doesn't care. So here we got. We said we are the Legion of Superheroes. Oh, God help us. Look at their precious shaved head. Apparently in the 31st century, everyone goes retro into 21st century millennial. Look, it's like, we all look like a bunch of dorks millennials. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get some hate because maybe some of you are millennials and you're listening to my video and I'm making fun of you, it sounds like. I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of a time period. Like I used to make fun of the 70s when people used to wear bell bottoms and stuff. It's nothing specific to an individual. This is something that we're going to look back on 10 and 20 years like bell bottoms. And if you're a millennial, you probably think bell bottoms might be cool because it's retro. But there was a time, believe me, it was dumb. Like big hair in the 80s. Dumb. We make fun of fashion and choices and we look back and we go, what the hell were we thinking? Trust me, if you're a millennial, when you get to be my age and you have kids or whatever, and they're going to look back at you and they're going to think you were dumb. And you're going to look at whatever the hell is in their generation and you're going to shake your head like I'm shaking mine. So don't take this as an insult. I'm not meaning anything personally. I'm just mocking something that I find ridiculous because I just explained it. We're here from the 31st century to celebrate this moment, the moment that the United Planets was formed. That's wonderful. I just don't think what you think has happened quite yet. We just asked the galactic leaders if they wanted to make a United Planets, but no one has actually agreed to anything. What's going on? Says Zar. Or not Zar, Zod. I think it's the kind of where we hope we're headed, hopefully. Just this, and then it's Brainy. Psst. Now navigating these pages can be tough. Brainiac 5. Oh, I see it now. Are we early to our historic once-in-a-lifetime visit to the most important moment in galactic history? Just, hold on. All right, so I won't torture you with this anymore. It ends, needless to say, at this point here where they're like, oh, we're stepping right on the moment right now. Oh, entirely. So everyone's like all huddling together. should we go away and come back? We could, but it feels like it's happening. Oh, so instead of coming to celebrate history, we tripped and fell on it. The moment is now, forever, and for all time. Us doing this? Brainiac, come on. It's just like, it's so just cutesy pie. And I guess maybe if I was 13, this might be more appealing to me, especially if I was a modern millennial 13-year-old. But this goes on far too long. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. 9 pages of this all set up of just the Legion showing up and bear in mind, this carries over from the last issue. And it's just, why is it? Because Bendis is, I don't want to say the word master because that implies like it's good. But Bendis is this notorious user, or is notorious at decompression of a comic book. He'll take something that should be one issue and he'll stretch it over 6 issues so that it can be put into a trade. That is, of course, what Written for the Trade comes from. And it sort of gets maligned because, anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So we get some of the world leaders around and they're like, Thanagar will now be heard. The Thanagarian War Council has decided to fully support Superman's immediate call for united planets, and we strongly and deeply encourage all the other star systems allied with us to cease fire and do the same. It's really happening. Hold it together, Garth. The Guardians of Oa must ask, is there any system represented here today that does not wish? And so literally, these planetary systems that have been at war for eons, or maybe not at war, but, had strife and difficulties for eons, because one little boy from Earth said, back home we have this thing called the United Nations, and all of these guys are like, duh? Why didn't we think of that? Oh my God! And they all just essentially, in a crowd right now, without even thinking about it, not even convening, no bureaucracy, just, okay, we all agree. Yep, let's all do it. And at the very end, it goes, that includes Earth. Who will speak for Earth? And Bendis, like the complete and utter terrible writer that he is, who does not understand the heroes he writes for, writes in Superman, I will speak for Earth in these matters. No. Superman doesn't speak for Earth. True Superman is the servant of the people, right? This is something that even Frank Miller understood. When a lot of people malign Frank Miller, say, you didn't understand Superman. No, but he did. Superman was a guy who believed in truth and justice, but he also believed in law and order. And he submitted to the President of the United States because that was the law of the land. He was the elected official, legally and lawfully elected to represent the people, and he wasn't going to ever abuse his power to circumvent the will just because he could. That's what villains do. Villains decide that freedom only lasts up until the point that it conflicts with their own self-interest, and then they take control, or they try to take control. That is the quintessential Doom or Dr. Doom or Darth Vader archetype villain, right? That is, they become the monster they are because they want to control everything. They feel that nothing will happen correctly unless they're in charge, because everyone else will screw it up. So they know better than everyone. And this is the danger. This is the very thing that Martian Manhunter, this guy right here, that Bendis wrote back 10 issues ago, where Martian Manhunter was trying to convince Superman to speak for Earth. And Superman was like, I don't think so. That seems bad. If you go back and watch that review, I commented on this, and I commended Bendis for not having Superman go down the route. But it was a ruse. we find out today that Superman is going down that route. And so, oh, he's going to speak, and yay! And see, here's the problem with a lot of people, that if you have certain political leanings, you're going to look at this and you're going to say, Ash, I don't see what the problem is. You know, it's Superman. Look, it's principle. Imagine that this was Lex Luthor instead of Superman. Would it be okay then? No. If it's not okay for some people, it's not okay for any people. You don't just get to say, oh, I'm okay with authoritarianism as long as it's my people in charge. When it's the other people that I don't like in charge, I'm against authoritarianism. That means authoritarianism is bad. If it's not good for everyone. So, 9, what is it? What did we say? 9, 10 pages. And then Superboy is like, oh, what should we call it? And Superman says, it was your idea, son. He says, from this day forward, for the next 1,000 years at least, we call this day Unity Day! Yay! Oh, Jesus. Like, I just gagged me with a spoon. This, 9, 10, was it 11 pages now? Oh, now we're at 12 pages and we're still talking about this nonsense. And then 13 pages. And then Zod and Superman have a little makeup session. And it's like, oh, your father, da da. And he's like, where's this monster? I forgot, this is the makeup session, doesn't happen yet. He says, the Robles are, they have them in stasis. No, I meant your father, where is JorEl? And Superman and Kara get a stern look on their face. Oh, did he offend you? Did he offend you guys? Are you upset? He talks about you just called your dad a monster. How dare you? Except maybe he is a monster. I don't know. So we go back to the scene where Adam Strange is talking to Superman. We've learned that was a flashback scene. Superman says, Adam, that heart of yours is telling me that you have something else to tell me. They wanted a friend to tell you. Out of deep respect in an impossible situation, they wanted to... I don't know how I'm supposed to tell you this. My father is under arrest. Your father has been arrested and sentenced for his crimes against the galaxy. What crimes? They haven't illustrated any crimes. But it's apparent to me from reading the previous issues that Bendis is intent on making JorEl the villain. Which is really bizarro because he already was the villain and then he screwed that up. Right? He screwed it up, and everyone, when he took over, everyone was like, this guy's Dr. Oz. Why is he like nice grandpa who's taking Jonathan Kent into space? And Superman's like letting his wife and his son go, like with Dr. Oz. No one understood. Because he's a villain. And then Bendis tried to make him out as a villain and it failed. He made Superman look more like the villain. If you don't understand what I mean, go watch the videos I made. But here we get Bendis going, okay, fine. I'm going to explain to you why he's the villain. It was all before you were born. And listen, we've been through a lot together, and I was thinking about this all the way over. Does creating genetically enhanced monsters sound like he's from a different generation, or does it sound like something we deal with all the time? I appreciate how hard this was to say. Thank you. So basically, Adam Strange says up here, sorry, he created Robles and set him loose into the galaxy. One panel explains, that's it. So 20 issues of story, and it's all resolved in one panel. Dun, dun, dun. He created Robles. We don't find this out anywhere in the comic otherwise. We don't see like flashbacks. And essentially, what Bendis has done is just revised all of comic history and just changed JorEl into an absolute genocidal monster. With the swift stroke of a pen, no reasoning, no support statement in the comics. This is almost on par with turning Captain America into a Nazi with the Hail Hydra moment. There's nothing in comics to support that Superman's birth father, who saved him from a dying planet, who fought against the criminal underlyings and the corruption within Krypton, that opposed his ideas and all these things, that he was actually worse than all of them. Worse than Zod and his bunch who had to be banished to the Phantom Zone. No. JorEl was the ultimate Kryptonian monster, and Superman is his son. This is a freaking joke of a book. Like, I know JorEl's not Captain America, so it's not going to have that impact. A lot of people are just going to be like, whatever. And we see here the next page, JorEl's sentenced to go back in his moment of time where he's at his wife and everything's dying, and he has to witness it and then die with the planet. So he gets to witness the worst moment of his life. He gets to relive it and then die. And somehow through it all, through this terrible writing, Bendis actually writes a decent scene, where because it is impactful. He's having to watch this, and he sees his younger self, and he looks, and they turn around and see him, and they're like, what? And all he says is, he does it. He brings the universe together. And then whatever this expression is, younger JorEl's like, huh? And then older JorEl solemnly looks down. He does it. And then boom, the planet explodes, and you can see down here my dog barking. You can hear my dog barking. You can see the Superman. Shush, dog. What is going on? I'm trying to record a video. Good Lord. Sorry about that. Whoa. So anyways, Superman gets away. When I'm recording it this way, I don't have an easy way to pause. And then that was a cool scene, is what I was trying to say. Jeez, I'm all discombobulated now because my dog got me all triggered. And then, hey, Cal, you want to get out of here? Desperately. Yeah, just like me. I'm reading this book and I feel the same way. What to do about the House of Zod? Well, we can't have them rooming with me. My apartment's not big enough. Boom. Here he comes. And this is where we have the makeup session. So they talk and they're like, oh, we're going to form a new Kryptonian outpost, and it's a new Krypton and all this stuff. And we got Zod family. And they basically say, this life's journey has not been the one I had hoped or dreamed for. Not one day of it. Now I want to start building something that we can leave for our children. My family will lay the foundation. Of course, yours is more than welcome to join us at any time. But I understand that you have deep roots planted elsewhere. An outpost? A start. Towards a new Krypton. But one that has learned from the past mistakes. Are you kidding me? Zod is part of the frickin' past mistakes. An entire new Krypton? How many babies are you planning on having? Don't abuse it. Your trust? The name of Krypton. Thank you. Let's both do better than our fathers. Hey, Dad, let's please go home. I'm so tired and I have to go to the bathroom so bad. Oh, look. Oh, gee. And I don't want to go here. I do not blame you. Oh, you look. Oh, it's kids. Oh, kids. Oh, so they fly home. The end. Next, the return of Super Sons. No, there is no return of Super Sons, Bendis. You killed them. And I illustrated at the beginning of this video how you could have not done that, but you did, and it's done, and it's broken, and that's it. So that's Superman 15. That is a colossal waste of money this far. I know many of you are, maybe, not many. There's some of you that are Bendis fans. I get them all the time. People hate watching my videos because I critique Bendis. Look, you liking Bendis doesn't make you a bad person. I have my tastes, and they're strong tastes, strong opinions. And I wouldn't be doing any viewer a service if I was just milquetoast on everything, right? If you came over to watch my videos and I was just like, everything's pretty good, nothing's really bad, I don't want to offend anyone, right? You shouldn't be offended because I think Bendis is writing a terrible book and I'm illustrating why. You may not agree with it, and that's the great thing about comics. We all have something that we like differently than one another. I'm sure there's books I read and you might go, that's trash, I hate that book. And so be it. These are my opinions. These are what I think about it, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm not some great almighty expert on comics. I do have some knowledge of comics. I've been around comics for a long time. Started collecting in the mid-'80s. I know people in the industry. Anyway, I'm not going to go about all my background on that, but I know a thing or two, and I'm just going to share what I do know. And part of what I know is because I talk to also because I talk to people like you guys. You guys give me feedback in the chat. You guys sometimes come on to Discord. Sometimes you comment on my streams or whatever. And I've learned a lot. I met Eric Breen, who's one of my channel regulars. He's a guy I've done some partnership stuff with, all because he came in and he engaged me and he gave me information, taught me things that I didn't know. And I was like, hey, here's a guy who can fill in the holes and gaps and things that I don't know, and I'm going to lean on him. And it just turned out, and we kind of just built a friendship out of that. So understand, he and I don't agree on everything either. It's all good. It's all fun. It's all about enjoying the hobby and expecting the best out of it. When I criticize comics, it's not because I want to hate. It's because I want them to be better. I want Superman to be awesome. I would love if Bendis was the best writer in comics. But I'm not going to praise him as the best writer of comics for hack jobs like this. Thank you so much for watching. This was a terrible comic, but you guys are a great audience. And please like, subscribe, put comments below. I like to talk to every one of you. I didn't expect this video to be this long. This is kind of an experiment to me. My camera is going bad on my phone, and so I was like, let me just try to do a digital thing on my iPad, see how this turns out. And hopefully this works and I can publish it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks again.